Oh, hey folks, Paul with you. I am on my evening walk. I did about 10 and a half miles this morning. I walked until about 1 o'clock, and it was hot, so I stopped, and now I have to walk for about 4 hours. So I had about 5 hot dogs with cheddar cheese in them, so it is time to walk. And then I had a chicken salad sandwich at 2 o'clock. So time for me to start walking and walking seriously. Anyways, I'm hungry. Like I tell you, I'm not hungry anymore. Now, let's go ahead and get to it, because when I tell you to come here and worship me as a God at this channel, it's really not a bad idea. If you worship me as a God, you're going to believe everything I say. And that's a good idea, because it will make you smarter. And I'm not laughing or giggling. Folks, what I told you before, I'm going to stick by it. I think we got about 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks, the chaos and the pandemonium will begin. Now, let me tell you what's going on. I'm not going to read you the Drudge Report, because there's not much new. It's still basically the same. Let me tell you what is happening, because I don't want to bore you with the Drudge Report. Saudi Arabia has lost its most massive oil refinery due to a, quote, limited, unquote, strike. Now, let me explain to you what that means. A limited strike is only a very small strike, so it will turn off a couple knobs. They're going to have to reattach a few wires, solder a couple points, and you're good to go with, are you ready for this? 550,000 barrels of oil a day. That's almost 500,000. It's unimaginable to me. I don't even know how they do it. It must be massive. I've never been to Saudi Arabia. I had a friend, and he had one leg. It sounds like a joke, but it's true. He lost his leg. He was a pretty dedicated drunk. I mean, he wasn't like drunk all the time, but when Friday night came around, he didn't remember anything until Tuesday, okay? Even Monday. But he was into all sorts of stuff. He wound up getting hit by a car, and he got hit in the leg, and he had damage right down to the bone, and he kept picking it. And they finally told him, stop picking it or you're going to lose your leg. And he kept picking it. And then the doctors took a piece of his arm off, little piece of the flesh of his arm, and they patched it right below. It was right below his kneecap. It was right there in that bony area. And they did it, and it didn't work. And the last time I saw him, that was in 95, 94. And I saw him about 5 years ago, around 2020, and he had one leg. So he didn't, it was hard. I don't think it was his fault. It was just, it's hard. It's hard when you get an injury all the way down to the bone. Anyways, this is going to be something that I'm going to tell you about. It's kind of like Johnny Wad. And for those of you who explore into the world of pornography, you remember Johnny Wad. Okay? And do not be fooled, because today gold was up. Something like, I forgot how much it went up to. I think it was around 100, maybe $100, maybe a little bit more. And silver got crushed. Silver went down over $6 at around 1:30 in the afternoon, I think it was, roughly. When I took my little nap, it was at $6.40 down, already in the mid 80s, from $95, $96 a day ago. It was up almost at $96. It was over 95, I know that. And what happened was Johnny Wad came on the scene, you see? And Johnny Wad had a big load. You understand? That's how those porno movies work. They get them when they have a fresh load, if you know what I mean. So the shorts came in after buying a considerable amount the last few days, and they did a paper bounce on paper silver bounce today. And I said to myself, this is ridiculous. This is never going to stand. And I don't believe this for a minute. And what's happened is that all of these shorts have come in that play it short. And they took everything that they had and they dumped. And they were able to get the price down for $6. Now, I just looked, and now silver is up 40 cents. You know why? Because you can only send Johnny Wad in there so many times. So what they did was Johnny unloaded as much as he could, but he is spent. And now, I don't know what's going to happen, because it's going to go to China tonight. And China's going to watch Japan struggle to get oil and gasoline. Why? Because of that pesky limited, by the way, limited strike on a mere 550,000 barrel per day oil refinery in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, let's think about this a little bit, okay? And what I'm saying about gold and silver is you can forget about gold and silver. You understand? Because they shot their load to break it down. Don't look for silver to be under $100 for too much longer. It made it to 96 yesterday, but the shorts are shooting their load off. You understand? So that's the one thing I wanted to tell you. Don't be fooled for a minute. I think silver is going to make giant moves, and very soon. And they're not going to be able to block them. So, number two, wow, that tree had all sorts of leaves on it. It had so many leaves down on that ground. So it looks like the cold weather just zapped all the leaves off of that. It reminds me of up north in the winter. Anyways, and it's a little cool tonight, by the way. It's a little cool tonight, but I'll manage. I don't think it's going to get that cool. Anyways, so now China is looking at Japan. And Japan is saying, can you get oil and gas for this industrialized country? And they're saying, rots a ruck. That's what they're saying, okay? Good luck, because now I'm told here with the news that no freighters, no oil freighters, no cargo freighters are going through the Straits of Hormuz. I told you yesterday that the insurance companies may not even cover them. On top of that, the crews are very skittish about going through there because they know what goes bang. So, and they don't like floating around on life rafts and all these kind of things. And it could be cold water over there too, even though it's warm. It's still cold water. It's no fun. And God only knows what they're going to do. They could attack them too. So it looks like now what we're going to have is you're looking at day one of the Bozo Clown routine. The way you solve the Bozo Clown routine, you come here. When you come here, I'm going to give you my predictions based on as logical a conclusion as I can come to, based on human behavior and other factors. And we are going to give you a T-. And T- is probably at this point at most 6 weeks, and I would say probably as soon as 21 more days. And all it's going to take is panic buying. Now, you don't mind paying $5, $6, $7 for gas. Anybody can afford $5, $6, $7 a gallon for gas. That's easy. But what will be the situation when you can't get gas at all? what will be the situation? You know what the situation's going to be? I've seen it twice in my life, and I'm 63. And twice in my life, I can remember. I'm talking about not with hurricanes, because hurricanes are different. That's limited. You know it's going to be over with at some point. But I remember back in the 70s, it was so bad in 1979 that it maybe even in 78, because it was 79 when I remember the crisis with the gas. It was late 78 and early 79. They had bad problems with getting gas. You had to, the odd even number on the license plate. Those days you could get gas. The other days you couldn't, etc., etc. $10 limits, $5 limits, etc., etc. All right, so now they've knocked out a major refinery producing 550,000 barrels of oil every day. Does it matter to you? Of course it doesn't matter to you. When will it matter to you? When you line up with all the other people and you cannot get gas. And folks, that's 3 weeks off. It could be 6 weeks off, but I think it's probably closer to 3 weeks. And I really don't know what to do about it. And I don't know what to tell you about it, other than do what you can to squirrel away a little gas. Because the minute that people go into panic, you won't be able to buy gas anymore. And when you do, you will have lines like I remember during the 70s. And by the way, it got so bad. Sorry, I just saw somebody and I didn't know if they were mad at me or whatever for talking loud. They are interested in everything being the same. They're not interested in any of this monkey business with all this little problems with 550,000 barrels a day of oil no longer coming to market. And they don't care. They've got to go in and they've got to play their 3DO. You understand? And Nintendo or whatever else it is. And listen to the mindless whatever on Netflix, right? As soon as the panic begins, you're not even going to be able to get gas. I remember in 1979, it was still bad. But I think it was earlier in the year, but I forget now because it's a long time ago. I was in 11th grade. And what happened was the car manufacturers did two weird things. The first thing they did is they started converting cars, a lot of different cars and trucks. Small cars and small trucks. There weren't so many trucks at that time, but some. Mostly cars. They started converting them to diesel. You heard right. I saw many that were converted to diesel because it was easier to get diesel fuel than it was to get gasoline. Folks, the second thing that happened was that no one really liked imported Japanese cars like Toyota and Datsun at the time and all that kind of stuff. Those were all viewed even in the late 70s as Japanese junk. Essentially, they ran very good though. Those cars were still good. They were just kind of old looking by our standards now. And I remember that people were starting to buy them more because they got good gas mileage. And the entire American car industry completely fucked themselves up because it's really ridiculous. If you look at some of the cars that they did, and they would take like a Ford LTD, which was this land dinosaur, and they were reducing it by 30%, if you can imagine this, maybe even 32, 33%. And they did it with all these different cars. And it destroyed the car industry at that time. That's when the cars, you can't do that. When you make violent changes like that, it's going to affect the usability of the car. It's always going to affect something with those kind of radical changes. And they did it because people were lining up for 4 and 5 and 6 hours to get gas, sometimes not getting gas because the guy would come out 30 cars in front of you and he'd say, "This is the last car." And then you waited there for 2 hours and you went back home, and you figure get up at 1 a.m. in the morning. And that way maybe 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning you'd be out. That happened in 1973. I remember, because we had a red Oldsmobile or Chevy station wagon. And that's exactly what we did, except we did it at around 5 degrees above zero. 15 degrees above zero Fahrenheit in Connecticut. And I remember it. So let's do a little recap here, okay? We've got a national debt at 39 trillion. We've got people that are coming in here into this country that have nothing and need everything. We don't know who they are. We don't know what their intentions are. We don't know where they came from. We don't know anything. They're speaking a different language, and they are changing the language patterns. It's already happened here in South Florida. And the reason I mention it is because today I started talking a little bit to the girl that's working at the gas station. And she's a pretty enough girl, you know. She's very pretty and everything. And I think she's from like Colombia or something. And she cannot speak English, folks. And she's been here for like a year. And she couldn't understand, even when I spoke slowly. She couldn't understand a single thing that I was saying. I said, there's going to be a shortage of gas. It's going to start getting hard. She just kind of looked off, and she couldn't really make anything of it. Folks, the Spanish are working hard, the Latinos are working hard to not assimilate into this country and serve their father, Spain, and put this country on the map of a Spanish-speaking country. I'm sorry to tell you this. That's not fact, but it's fact as far as I'm concerned. So you think of it what you will. I get people that come on and they talk about this and they tell me I hate everybody. What do you expect? You can't just watch your country dissolve. And that's what's happening. Truly. So that's where we're at right now in 2026. And it turns out that it's going to be the year of the cat or the year of the pump. Because you fucking imbeciles out there, you come here and worship me as a god, I'll take care of you. I'll instruct you right. I will bring you the news. You can make of it what you will. But you better get ready. Because the minute the panic starts and these fucking dimwits all figure it out, you're going to see what's going to happen. The 550,000 barrels that are coming out of Saudi Arabia, that's just stopped, that will never return. Why? Because they'll do more damage to it. And it's the same thing, folks, and I'm going to cut this video short right now. It's the same thing as... sorry, folks, it's getting dark and I'm trying to finish off this video here and I'm getting a brain fart. It's the same thing as something, I can't remember. I'll remember it, don't worry. But we're not going to have 550,000 barrels coming out of Saudi Arabia. I know what it was I was going to say. I don't know if any of you, like that cruise YouTube or whatever, how long has it been since you've seen tanks attack anything? You know why? Because tanks are completely obsolete. They've moved into obsolescence. You cannot put people into a tank. They are almost certainly going to be blown apart and killed. And why is that? Because of these $350 drones, $500 drones, $800 drones. Depends where you are as to how much they are. But a $1.5 million or $3 million tank is no match for 3 drones. 1 being surveillance to capture what happened, and 2 which make an initial blow into the weak spot of the tank, either the turret right under, because you can get these drones right down to the 1/2 inch for accuracy, pretty much. So if they don't go to the the part where the tank turret is held on, because there's a gap there. Then they go to the radiator where the fumes come out from the tank. And there's other different points, and a crippled tank is probably pretty much as a dead tank, if they know where it is. It may take a day, it may take 3/4 of a day, but it's going to be scrapped, because if you take off one tread, no person in their right mind is going to spend 3.5 hours or 5 hours repairing the tread on a tank, if it can be repaired at all. So you're looking now at obsolescence. There's no more tanks. You don't see them anywhere. There's no more talk about them. I mean, I was watching the news like a year and a half ago. You were watching this. Now you're not watching it anymore because they figured out it's over. And these drones are dangerous. They're dangerous to you as a fuckmouth, because you're going to wind up waiting in 400 car lines very shortly to get your gas. And the reason is because Iran, I'm sure they're not that dumb. What they've done is they've loaded up on hundreds of thousands of drones, would be my guess. And these small drones, when put into swarm waves, it's unbelievable the damage that they can do to electrical facilities and electrical wires and this and that and substations. So get ready, folks, okay? Get ready. And yes, Donald Trump brought this on us. And to my subscriber, my, what was that? He said he's a necrophiliac. I can't remember the name of it. When you reverse everything, I'm just kidding. You're not a necrophiliac. Whatever. You reverse your letters. I forgot now. But I made a smart-ass video telling you not to worry today when there was real good reason to worry. But trying to make you understand your stupidity, thereby giving me a better chance of having you worship me as a god. That's basically what it is. So, you want to blame Trump for the last 10 years? I couldn't agree more. But you know who's really to blame? People who don't understand human behavior and human behavior patterns as it comes to elections. Now, this is going out to the homosexual people and the people who think that the homosexuals are the right way to go and the right people to do, because the right people to put in office and this and that. I get it. And those are the people you thank, not me. Don't thank me. I don't worship any gay people. I don't hold them any higher than anyone else, and sometimes I hold them lower. Believe it or not, I've said it before on my channel. Because they don't understand that when they view things, they don't see things the way the truth is. They see them the way a homosexual sees them, or a gay woman sees them, and it's not like most people see things. So, who do you blame for Donald Trump? You blame the gay community. That's what you blame. Because Donald Trump should have never been in office to begin with. Do you know why he went into office? Because they put a bull dyke, completely unlikable gay woman to run against Donald Trump. And I know the light bulb is going off over your head right now. Why in the hell would they put a gay woman who has no likability? Well, because the gays all tell you that she's gay. And if she's not gay, then it's rumored that she's gay, or there's all that fanfare. What the gays need to do is they need to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm gay. And you want to know something? I don't think that we're going to be able to get a presidential candidate to become the head of the country. And then your other gay friends say, and the friends of gays, they say, oh no, we've got Pete Buttigieg, and he was or is the transportation czar. Well, we got dog catchers, and we got all sorts of things where people are gay. We've got House members, we've got all sorts of different things. Judges, but you know what you never see? Gay people, you know what you never see? You don't see somebody taking it up their keister and running the country as the highest person. You know why? Because they're not queer like you. And the people around you don't want a queer as president. They don't want it. They never did. I don't even think you can find an example of the last 140 presidents or whatever it is that we had that was even rumored to be gay. But you have to realize and face your gaiety and tell the people that are your fellow gays not to put somebody in like that. And they should have pulled her immediately. You know why? Because anyone would have beaten Trump. Anyone. He looked like a deer that was caught in the flashlight from the hunter when he was on that stage debating. I mean, the other Republicans were so goddamn dumb, they couldn't even kill themselves quick enough with that kind of bullshit that they were coming out with. And they had decent Democratic candidates that would have been able to beat Trump, probably close, but they would have probably beaten Trump. So don't blame that on me. You go talk to the people who want gay presidents for this country, and you'll find that you'll get a lot of people, but you ain't going to put a gay person at the top in this country. You may get him as a Buttigieg. You might get him as a gay governor or whatever else it is. It's never going to fly at the top, folks. Believe me when I tell you, it's never going to fly. It might have flew with Obama, because that's possible. I don't know. But aside from him, I don't know anyone else that even rumored to be gay. Anyways, folks, that's my rant for the night. I'll be with you tomorrow. I didn't do the Drudge Report with you today because there's really nothing new. There's really nothing to report on except Saudi Arabia. And those drones are going to wipe out anything that is going to make your life easier. From Iran's point of view, they are going to cause havoc like you've never seen it before. 21 days and counting. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.